Welcome to this episode of the 94twenty podcast, where we talk about the music that we love and the industry that we tolerate.
Orange seeds and cherry pits. End of June never felt quite like this. Melting down the candy cone. Oh, and rainbow sprinkles taste like gold. When the sun hits the car like it's been baking for 6 weeks, and the sizzle on your skin reminds me where we used to be. Take me to that July, the silky breeze off the sky, when onion skins were the only thing to make us cry. Take me to that July, the sun was always in our eyes, the doorbell rang and we were all surprised. Danny and Jane and Dawn were still in our lives. A devil's grin and makeshift plans, painting cream cheese on your boyfriend's car, late night drives and best regrets, getting sick from the games that you made up. We're dancing through the firelight like we were all raindrops, and racing past each graveyard screaming about our goals. So take me to that July, the silky breeze helped us by, when onion skins were the only thing to make us cry. Take me to that July, the sun was always in our eyes, the doorbell rang and we were all surprised, when Danny and Jane and Dawn were still in our lives. And though we may have lost some on the way, no, I loved each moment just the same. Photos from the grocery line, I freeze your smile mixed with mine, and I wouldn't change it for the world. No, I wouldn't change you for the world. So take me to that July, the silky breeze helped us fly, when onion skins were the only thing to make us cry. Take me to that July, the sun was always in our eyes, the doorbell rang and we were all surprised, when Danny and Jane and Dawn were still Danny and Jane and Dawn, when Danny and Jane and Dawn were still in our lives.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the 94twenty podcast. That was Laura Nickel with That July. Hi Carl and Greg, how are you both doing?
Hello.
There you go. Hello, hello, Carl and Greg. Good.
I got to come up with a new. Hello.
I'm even bored of my own hello. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Greg.
Yeah, there you go. It's like hi everybody.
I like that song.
It's kind of whimsical, isn't it?
But you know, I just thought of something, as usual, stupid. But when did it become where people did things in life and then rhymed them to sing about them? When did that become a thing?
It's like the willing suspension of disbelief in musicals that drives you crazy, right?
No. I mean, when did songs begin? Like, when did we decide that we're going to sing things we did?
Well, I think that they probably originated a long time before the rhyming came in. That's probably a relatively new
right
device, but you know, just putting words or putting language into certain tonal pattern. That's probably been around as
Well,
long as language
Gregory,
has.
why don't we sing this episode?
Well, you know.
Do you want to know what Google says?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't care what Google says, but tell me.
Chat GPT.
But tell me anyway.
So it says the earliest fragment of musical notion is found on a 4,000-year-old Sumerian clay tablet, which includes instructions and tunings for a hymn honoring the ruler. And I don't even know how to pronounce the ruler's name. So.
Well, that's very interesting. But I could care less.
Well,
I could care less.
Certain amount of research about sound healing because it's something that interests me, and there are particular motifs or certain frequencies chained together that actually have evidently some healing properties. The mantras are like that for Buddhism, for meditation. You have a particular mantra that basically you would repeat over and over and over again, and you're not just repeating the words, you're actually repeating the sequence of frequencies strung together. So
But when did it become?
So is this what you wanted to talk about today?
No,
Or is
no,
this just a thought that popped into your head?
No, this just popped in my head listening to her song. But
Yeah.
no, I love that she seems like she's having fun doing that song, you know.
yeah, I think there's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and I think that it's kind of...
No, she's talking about, if I guess, she's talking about, like, you know, when she was a kid in July, and she wishes
Yeah,
to go
and
back to that time, and people are gone, but still...
I start listening for those little turns of a phrase that are kind of like unique, you know, that like being in the car and that kind of stuff. It's cool stuff.
This is what I thought of this week. And again,
the
it's...
pseudo topic.
Well, it's kind of a topic. It's about streaming. And like, she that shall not be named, she's joined the first woman who's in the billion listeners club or something. She has 1 billion listeners monthly on Spotify.
Yep.
I mean, that makes sense given the fact that she's in the news all the time.
This is what I thought about, you know, so when you sell 1 million records, that's important. You get 1 million streams, to me, that is meaningless. All streams, well, to me, I realized that all streams mean is that someone listened to your song. Having 1 million streams is like saying it's played on the radio. Doesn't mean that you even like it. You just said you heard it. Like, you know, when you buy the record, it means you like it because you bought it. You own it. You wanted it. But just that you heard it, why should that mean anything? So what? It doesn't mean anything. If 1 billion, and you know a joke too, you know, I realized too? So 1 billion streams might mean 1 million people listened to it 1 million times. You know, it doesn't mean 1 billion people liked it.
Well, that's where I was going to come in and say it's also inflated because it could literally mean one person had it on repeat for 1 billion times.
Right.
And
Well,
that's
that's absurd. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't really gauge anything, really. It means, you know, and if you're on a playlist that gets a lot of airplay, you know, or a lot of listeners, and you're number 4 on that playlist, the song goes by and it counts as a stream, but I don't even pay attention to it. It doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't it count as a stream too, like once you reach the 30-second mark? So someone could be waiting to hear if they really like it because it's a long introduction, and after 33 seconds they hop off.
Billion
That's still
people
streams.
might think, because it's in the news, the new Taylor Swift, let's listen to it. 1 billion people could hate it, but 1 billion people just wanted to see if they hated it. And that's all it is. So it's meaningless. It should go back to sales. I'm sorry, this whole technology thing, it's all wrong. Has to go back to you want it, you buy it. And that means you like it. Musically, anyway. I guess ticket sales are a different thing. That still shows you're paying because you're going. But
I'm afraid to say anything.
She's got a movie coming to AMC, which I think is a smart move because, again, it's ticket
of
sales
course,
and not streaming.
Let's milk the audience. We've made $15 billion from our concert. So now, for everyone who couldn't go to that, let's put it on TV. Come on. How much money are you going to gouge?
If you go to particular platforms that are willing to pay and are still on the kind of the physical model where somebody goes and lays down money in order to sit in front of a screen for 2 hours and see you, there's nothing dumb about that. for all the digital disruption, the movie industry has maintained that market that will go and pay cash money to sit in front of a screen.
I think the movie industry is even dead now after COVID. The movie industry's dead with TV and streaming and Netflix and Disney and everything else.
Disney's CEO came out and said, like, streaming has actually really hurt them in terms of getting people to go into the theaters and see a movie, because they know if they just wait 2 months and they've got Disney Plus.
2 months? 2 weeks?
No, 2 months, 2 weeks, whatever. But they could just wait to go see it and not have to pay the ticket price.
2 minutes.
You know, I think that I think the streaming thing matters only because it's the new coin of the realm, and the streamers, the services that provide the streams, they have the artists over a barrel because they're the only game in town.
You know what I
so
realized
they can
too?
tell them what they're going to pay.
I even hate the word streaming. What does that even mean? Streaming. It's stupid. What do you mean stream? Right? Why is it streaming?
I wish that people would come back to now. If they want a free model, and that's essentially what this is. It's the reason that it took off because people were able to consume music, hear the music they wanted to hear, and they didn't have to pay for it. Well, that's the same premise behind radio.
Well,
you know,
and they
the idea
geared
that
it.
they didn't have to pay.
They geared it towards the generation that literally had Napster, where for like a year or two you could download anything that you wanted off of anything,
Right.
and then Napster got in trouble, and you had to start paying for it. So that's why I think it took off, because there's this whole generation that got a taste of it, got it taken away, and then Spotify comes in and says, oh, you can stream it for free now. If you pay $7.99, you can also choose any songs you want, and every single month you get new music that you would like. So
I hate all the words. I hate the word streaming. I hate the word influencer. Like, come on. You know, I hate all these words.
what was the word that
No,
we
it's
came up
just-
with a few months ago that was like the opposite of influencer?
I forget.
Yeah, we need to go back.
Oh, I
forget.
gotta figure it out.
You know, I mean, none of it matters to me in so much as I'm not your typical consumer. Nobody's making content for me. You know, they're making content for people that are 25 years old. So I'm not your typical consumer. Therefore, I spend a lot of my time in nostalgia land, where I'm going back and I'm purchasing albums again. I'm actually purchasing vinyl again.
You're right. It's funny. I was just telling my girlfriend, I want to get a stereo. I want
Yeah.
to get a nice turntable with a nice Marantz or
Yeah.
Techniques, the speakers. I want to play records.
And I'm enjoying that. you
I
know?
want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know,
And there's still a lot of archaeology out there. I can still buy albums for $5, you know?
oh yeah.
I mean, so I...
what
now-
$5? I have my whole album collections in my sister's basement. It's still
There you go. There you go. Now, the converse of that is the idea that if I want a new album, I have this guy that I love named Richard Hawley. If I want his new double album best of set, you know, it's going to cost me $60. So that's the converse of it. There are a couple artists that I would be willing to purchase, you know, kind of new vinyl on, but I'm not going to be a big consumer of that. I'm going to basically spend the next 10 years buying albums for between $1 and $5.
The only way that I'm going to like Taylor Swift, I just realized, tell our intern I'm not a Swiftie anymore. I will like her only one if she takes all the money she's made on this tour and give it all back. Give it all back. Not even just...
That ain't happening.
You know,
baby.
give it all back. You know, so what? You give it to the food banks. Give it all to the food banks. Give it all to the food banks every town you get. Give it all to every like all the bus drivers and the tech people and the roadies.
I don't know how much she's done, but it would seem to me that she could do
Give
a
it
few
all.
shows.
Give it all back.
100%.
Give it all back. Make
I
no
think she's
money.
probably done a lot.
Then you know you want to show something. Taylor, do the biggest tour ever and take no money from it. That would
be
impress.
interesting.
That would impress the hell out of me. You know, give it all back. You know, or give it all to charity. You're rich enough, you don't need this money. Give it all back.
do the Bill Gates thing, right?
Not even Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Everybody. I would love if Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, all of them gave all their money away. They all get a studio apartment. And
we'll do a reality show on YouTube.
And just give it all back. Buffett, all of them.
Speaking of, Jimmy Buffett did pass away this week, so.
Yeah, that was sad.
It's always sad when anyone dies, but maybe I'm again naive or I don't know much about him. All I know is it was Margaritaville. That's basically it.
No, Buffett was this kind of counterculture poet in the early 70s. The first 5 albums that he wrote and played, like quintessential brilliant singer-songwriter type stuff.
Really?
Now, he kind of went with this concept of
Margaritaville,
being the leisure king, and he was hanging out in Key West and New Orleans
he's
before
that. He's like a billionaire, right? From those, he's like a rich dude.
Well, yeah, from the live performances over a 30-year span, yeah, he was a billionaire.
Well, didn't he also start like the Margaritaville chains, like restaurants, hotels, and
one
things
in
like
Vegas.
that?
There's a ton of these Margaritaville places. Yeah,
There's the
all that kind of
Margaritaville
stuff.
Hotel in downtown Nashville. That's beautiful.
Brilliant marketer, brilliant artist. So, because admittedly, he wasn't a great player and he wasn't a great singer. He was a really, really, really accomplished writer. He actually wrote a couple novels.
You know what?
Well,
all I know is if Jimmy Buffett wants me to really think he was great, have his family give all the money back. This is called the Give the Money Back episode. Who else who needs to give all the money back? Tom Cruise. Give all the money back.
Everybody needs to give the money back. We live in a
let's start over.
We live in a capitalistic dictatorship. So they all need to give the money back.
Give the
Everybody.
money back. Anyway, give the money back. Give the money back. The singing "Give the Money Back" episode. Just shoot me now.
Give the money back jingle.
Why did we do, again? I always have to ask the question. Why did we do this?
Because it's fun.
For who?
Yeah,
For us, maybe not for other people.
That's debatable.
So anything to talk about?
I will say that over the last maybe week or two, I've been doing a bit more driving just because Kenzie's back in school, had to go up to Nashville a couple of times. I've been turning to radio more than Spotify, which hopefully, Carl, you approve of.
I approve of it.
And I will say, I actually enjoyed listening to the radio for the first time. I know I've complained about it and saying that people are not necessarily coming out with new music that's actually good, and they're doing a lot of throwbacks.
But what station?
It was like the top 40 hits, but it was at the time when they would play.
But he's talking Sirius satellite radio?
No. I'm talking like 107.5 The River in
Broadcast
Nashville.
radio.
Broadcast radio. I enjoyed the personalities that were talking on it, which is saying something because
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 2.
I like the conversation between them, which is kind of probably why people like us, because they like our banter.
Yeah, maybe we should become DJs.
But the music that they were playing actually was so much better. One, they finally stopped playing the Fast Cars by Luke Combs or whatnot. I cannot stand it. But out of all of the songs that were being played, I actually liked Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire, and then there was the It's a Bad Idea or something like that. And to me, she's actually coming to the forefront of actually bringing back something that was old from like the 80s-ish, but putting a really unique twist on it. If you both haven't listened to it, I encourage you to listen to it. So before we play another single by Laura Nickel, there's 2 things I want to remind our audience. The first is we are still looking for your opinions on the Beatles. Our Beatles episode, which is highly anticipated, is coming up. So please go to 94twenty.com/Beatles and give us your opinions on them, because we would love to feature them. And then on top of that, our blog is still running, The Rhythm Rundown, and we have a new blog this week about Kian DeCrot, who is an artist from overseas who is coming here for his U.S. tour that we were able to go to be a part of the private press conference. That new blog is out now, and while we cannot feature Kian on the podcast, we were able to write about him and what he's got coming up. So make sure you go there, but hang tight because we have another single by Laura Nickel called Little Red Ring, and before that we'll listen to someone who we really like in the Nashville area called Nash and Tune. In this episode, we are featuring a local Nashville company called Nash in Tune. Nash in Tune is the most exciting country site to get you in tune with new music, fun events, and the Nashville life. For more information, you can go to their website, which is nashintune.com. That is NASHINTUNE.com.
How's your family? How's your mother? Does your sister still pick clovers? Does your favorite record still repeat? See, I heard your brother's name in a grocery line in Maine, buying the ice cream we shared on sticky seats. So I'll spend another 20, give my whole life to a city where no one knows my name or cares. But looking at this old receipt, I knew we were too young to be in love. I still have your engagement ring. Oh, that little red ring that you gave to me before we knew how to read. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me when I still hid behind my dad's knees. I still miss your boyish love, making monuments from grass, and now I draw it on the back of every piece. We were explorers, we were kings when the others called us freaks. Somehow you were the best part of me. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me before we knew how to read. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me when I was so scared of everything. And I know that we got closure when we were so much older. You're happy now, at least at 18. And they say you found your true love, been married for 8 months, and I'm right here, missing how we loved so freely. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me before we knew how to read. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me when I still hid behind my dad's knees. So I'll leave you in a meadow with mustard in that kettle, drawing treasure maps to every seam. You can take your babies there with her sunny eyes and your curly hair. Show them how we mark that special tree. Leave me in the summer breeze, speaking through the midnight leaves. Bury me under our wildest dreams. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me before we knew how to read. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me when I still hid behind my dad's knees. Oh, that little red ring you gave to me when we knew nothing. 'Cause I still think I know nothing.
I like that. There's a lot of sweetness that comes across with that
It's
one.
so different and super strong melody. I love the melody.
Well, you know, it's funny. Shows you what, I've been a maniac my whole life. It reminds me
Yep.
when I was little. I was around
Yep.
eight or nine. I remember I had a crush on Donna Pulio. She lived down the block. I remember, so I used to ride past her house on a bicycle, to try to, see her and just be nonchalantly riding by, right? So one day, she's out on the sidewalk, and I'm riding on the sidewalk, riding right towards her. So she's looking at me, and I'm going, better get out of the way. They get out of the way, and I'm riding down the block, like I'm thinking, like, I don't know what I was thinking. I ran her over with the bicycle.
That is such a metaphor for your love life.
But anyway, I ran her over with the bicycle, and then I go home, and then all of a sudden, like, the knock on the screen door, it's Donna Pulio with her mother going. She goes, and then my mother goes, "What's wrong with your son? Is he a nut?" She goes, "Why? He just ran over my daughter with his bicycle." And my mother goes up and she goes, "Carl, did you run?" I goes, "I thought you liked her." I goes, "I do." Anyway, I was an idiot. So,
that is a great story.
She never went out with me. We never dated.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonder why.
It's a little prophetic.
But that song reminded me of that for some reason. Anyway, that's my story. Nice song.
Laura.
Did we speak to her?
We did. So Laura answered our questions of the week.
You know what? Even I'm sick of these questions. We always pretend like, so what did we ask her?
People know what we asked. Just play her first response.
So, Nicole, what did we ask her?
I guess who cares? I don't know. No, the questions that we asked her, which everyone knows and loves, mind you, is tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Laura Nickel. I am a singer-songwriter currently located in Nashville, Tennessee. I also am a recording engineer and a music producer, and I absolutely adore writing and creating my music. It is one of my favorite ways to connect to and stay in tune with my emotions. I also love storytelling in my songs and sometimes being even a little overdramatic at times. Telling stories and making up worlds in my head and sharing those with people is such a fun way for me to share my love of music with other people. I released my debut album, Dusty Houses, this past spring, and I am so grateful for all the support I've received. I released this album in honor of my grandparents, and it is so cool to see and hear how so many people are relating to the songs I wrote from my own bedroom and are now putting their own meaning to each song that I put out. It's such a rewarding feeling, and it is one of the coolest things about releasing music. I'm already feeling so inspired by all the positive feedback I've received to share my next batch of songs. Good stuff is ahead.
See, I agree with her. I agree that the best part about songwriting, what they mean to someone else and what they take them to mean, that's what I love. Like, sometimes people have told me about songs I've written, and what they get from it is nothing that I intended.
Yeah, the interpretation, right.
Once you let it out there, it's the world. It truly becomes the world. So I get
collective consciousness.
I get what she's saying. Where sometimes, because her song just reminded me.
Yeah, I was gonna say just like what it did to you. It's probably not what she thought the song was gonna be for you, but that's how you interpret it.
Running over your love interest with a bicycle. Right. I also like the way she identified herself as a producer and an engineer. That's kind of a rare thing, unfortunately. For a female to be a recording engineer and a producer. I wish there were more, but that's just, that kind of shows her commitment to the whole process, right? So
cool. So I will sing it. So what else did we ask her, Nicole?
Wish I had like one of those tambourines because I'd talk back with the tambourine.
Yeah, how come I sound like it's like a 50s? So what else did we ask her, Nicole?
So we asked her what music artists have inspired her career so far.
I've been inspired by so many artists throughout the years. It would be tough to name them all, but some of them that have stuck with me through the years and have, I feel like, really influenced my music include artists like Joni Mitchell, John Bellion, Gregory Alan Isakov, Phoebe Bridgers, Taylor Swift, and I've been listening to a lot of jazz music lately, so there's definitely some influence in that as well. I've also been listening to the new Florence and the Machine album as well, so lots of influences from everything, but those are definitely some of my top ones so far.
There's this playlist that's called New Age Covers or something like that. And basically what it was like new artists doing older songs, but I didn't know. So I heard this great Phoebe Bridgers song, Summer's End. I loved it. I loved it. Then I found out it was written by John Prine. And it was like, it was great. And the thing is, I went and heard John Prine's version. I didn't like it as much.
Right.
Phoebe
right,
Bridgers is this really cool version of Summer's End. It's kind of like these songs that this girl's singing. It's just
But
cool.
you have wrestled with John Prine's contributions in the past, and so I think it's great that you found some John Prine songs.
He's a great writer. Come on.
Yeah.
I say all my stupid stuff, but I know it. He was great. Come on. I get
Yeah,
it.
he was amazing. Yeah.
So, and the next question is...
What did we ask her later?
So the next question we asked her is, what is one service in the music industry that is not
like that
available for music indie artists now?
Let's hear what she says.
Being an independent musician is a very difficult road, long and winding, and often one that's filled with a lot of turbulence. With as many trials as there are, though, there are also just as many successes and small wins that make it all worth it. Something I think that indie artists could benefit more from, I don't think it's necessarily like a service from a business or something, but artists could benefit more from just support. So listening to their music, sharing it, and also just from the support of a community. So finding ways to build that community is one of the best things that can help indie artists from not having to feel like they're doing it all alone. And finding that team that will help you grow and build your vision into a reality is one of the top things, I would say.
You know, it's funny. I had this thought the other day because a friend of mine did something that initially I was a little jealous of. And I said, and this applies to what she's saying, don't be jealous of anyone. Be inspired. You know, if someone does something that you love, it should inspire you to do your own thing so that's what I took from that. You know, like, so no more jealousy.
That's cool.
I mean, that kind of comes from the mindset of like, instead of thinking that you should do something, turn it to I can do something.
And you know, because people, even though I sound like an idiot all the time and I say all stupid stuff, in reality, I'm really not that at all.
No, you're not.
No.
I'm a Zen, supportive, cosmic, wonderful human being, right?
Right, you are.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
You know who can't sing? I guess it must have been like a reunion of when they finally let David Lee Roth back in Van Halen, like right before Eddie V died. And so we took like 4 years ago or something. And it looks like they pulled him out of the closet and said, you can come back in the band again. He was so excited. He was like, hey, everybody jump. We can jump. And it was horrible. Like,
It was so bad.
it was so bad. Back when he was like in the 80s, he looked cool. He had a rock star. But now he's like some balding guy going, okay, everybody jump.
It's like a used car salesman in Vegas, you know.
Who was asked to be in Van Halen? It was a joke. Even Eddie V's
It was
looking.
so bad.
You know what I'm talking about? Even Eddie.
And then after he did that, I went back and listened to the albums, and he was never really that great. I mean, I think they did auto-tune on him before it was even invented, you know.
I'm sorry.
I bet they had to do countless
I thought
vocals
Sammy
in order to get him
Hagar,
pitched.
Van Halen was the much more musical Van Halen.
Hagar is a great singer.
He could sing.
Yeah,
Those
he was
songs
really
were
good.
great. You know, the jump. You know, I get. To me, Van Halen was all Eddie V. It was just like he was just.
Sammy Hagar made a record. It was the first Montrose record, and I think that album is the quintessential rock album of the last 100 years. Go back and listen to the first Montrose record. Sammy Hagar is singing, and it's Ronnie Montrose playing.
You know what?
guitar.
You know what I might do? Maybe I'll
Tommy
do.
Aldridge playing.
Maybe I'll
drums.
do. But this week, if I get bored, I'll do some some setups where we go. I'll sing them and go. That's what Greg just said. Listen to what Greg says.
We need some little stingers, some
Right.
little, that'd be good.
Here's some
Yeah.
wisdom from Carl. Let's hear what Nicole has to say now. Is it time to shoot ourselves and get out of here?
This singing, yes, let's get out of here. The
Probably.
singing episode is like,
You know what? I'm telling you too. I'm not going to edit any of this out. I'm going to keep this.
yeah.
This is going to be our let's all the nuts and bolts. I'm going to let it all go.
let's just let
This will
it
be our
lay
unedited
where-
episode to show everyone what really happened.
Really, what really happened?
Yeah. And show everyone how what a great job that Carl does.
They should know. They should
editing
They
all
really
this crap
should.
out.
They should know
Yeah,
that,
really.
like, our podcast is usually about 30 minutes, but we record about 6 hours every time.
Carl edits out about 5.5 hours worth of bullshit.
We have another decade of podcasts with all the stuff that's cut out of the.
Right.
We really should create like a Patreon where all we do is like put in the edits that Carl leaves out for
That'd be
each of them.
funny. It'd be
I
funny.
think we won't. And Nicole, I think it's time for us to go.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, absolutely.
I like it.
Time for us to go.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the 94twenty podcast. Make sure that you listen all the way through for one more single by Laura called Dusty Houses. For everything that we spoke about in this episode, you can go to our website, which is 94twenty.com. That is the numbers 94 and the letters TWENTY. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Once upon a time, there was a intrepid leopard.
You caught me sleeping in the front porch light, tucked me in, and you kissed me goodnight. Driving past every highway windows down. Now I only do that to drown out the sound of missing you, spinning in your room. It's faded since when you were here. Oh, it's true. An empty room won't make you disappear. Do you feel the dusty houses? I love you. Do you feel the dusty houses? Swear they're still with you. Do you feel the dust echo through the front porch rise? Do you feel the love? Comfort shows you just enough.
Once upon a time, there was an old lost son.
We'd read each book. I'd pretend that I could too. Pick a page and sing some silly made-up tune. The same old stories hang frozen on the shelf. Melting moments I chose to leave unfelt. If I hold my breath just enough, I see you in your favorite chair, a quiet grin. You'd stand so tall and whistle off a joke just for fun. Do you feel the dusty houses? Whisper I love you. Do you feel the dusty houses?
I'm afraid I'll be washed down the street.
Swear they're still with you. Do you feel the dust echo through the front porch rise? Do you feel the love? Its comfort shows you just enough.
These two were friends of each other.
Do you feel the dust echo through the front porch rise? Do you feel the
time there was an hospital.
Its comfort shows you just enough. Do you feel?